Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to BBallBreakdown. The summer is over, it's time to get back to work, and man have I got a good one for you today. The triangle offense is near and dear to my heart. As you may or may not know, Tex Winter, its inventor, was a mentor of mine, and we did spend a lot of time talking about how to implement it, how it works, the intricacies. And so what I'm going to show you is just how many teams in the NBA run much of its actions as part of their offense. So if you're going to try and argue that it's old or outdated, it doesn't really work in today's offense, that's ridiculous because it's everywhere we see. It's permeated across the entire NBA, college, high school. So much of what is there exists everywhere now in a modern context. And so I'm going to show you what teams have done to run the parts of it. And so if it's good enough to run parts of it, you can't tell me that the whole thing is just worthless. It's a lot of terrific stuff about angles and spacing and movement, and most importantly, teamwork. 5 fingers on a hand moving together. And if that initial action doesn't yield a shot, well, most NBA teams who don't run that kind of triangle basis end up getting a really bad pick and roll out top and a tough shot, whereas a triangle gives you flow into another action, and then another action after that, you're never out of it. The key for me, though, is what Phil Jackson understood, which was when Michael Jordan was playing, he could easily dominate the ball the entire game, but what happens if Horace Grant doesn't even get to touch the ball a little bit on offense? I'm just talking about catching it, maybe making a pass. Without that, maybe he doesn't run back as hard on defense and play hard on defense. And that's the idea behind a teamwork, fundamental, real basketball that the triangle brings you. And here is how many teams run it and how it works. Let's start out by looking at the basic triangle actions so we can more easily identify them in the footage. The original triangle as designed by Tex Winter almost always started with a look to the low post once the triangle was set up on the sideline. On the entry pass, both the wing and corner would cut simultaneously to the basket. 3 players would converge on the weak side and fan out in different directions, and they looked to flow into a blind pig action that could suck the defense in and yield a kick out for a corner 3. The Knicks run this and get a nice ISO for Porzingis for the face-up jumper. The Lakers run it and get the weak side screen for Kobe before Hibbert gets a rare highlight and one. The Warriors went back to the 60s version of the triangle where the wing screens for the corner to get a split right in front of the low post. And the Knicks also used this action as well to get a good look from the perimeter. Tex did have a ton of options out of this, and one of them was to have the wing screen for the guard at the elbow for a split. And this is where we've seen this influence take hold across a whole lot of teams. The Knicks used this action as well, and you can see that once Calderon screens at the elbow, he resumes his normal cut to the weak side to screen for Lopez. Here, the Warriors enter to the low post and Livingston screens for Clay, curling around for a shot at the hoop. But you can also feed the post from out top and then continue to run the same split. When the defense gets confused, the screener is often wide open. And if the defense gets out of position, then it's a simple cut to the basket for an easy layup. The Cavs ran this, but inverted the screen based on personnel. Because Dellavedova is a better 3-point shooter than LeBron, Delly gets the flare screen to the top, and that opens up the cut for LeBron to the hoop. Same idea with the Knicks, and this time Melo gets a great look when his screen forces his man to watch the cutter, easy pass for Lopez, boom. And Melo used this to his advantage, receiving the screen, then finding room to ISO on the right side for the fadeaway. And at times, the Warriors didn't even have to use the screen to get a cut to the hoop when a defender loses sight of ball and man. And let's not forget how open the center gets with this kind of action. Once the cutters get through and don't receive the ball, there are all sorts of openings for the big man to get a good shot off. The next option is called pinch post, and it's by far the most prevalent across the league since it is so deadly. The basic action is to swing the ball out top and pass the ball to the elbow, then follow that pass around the outside for the handoff. This leads to all sorts of fantastic action that is unique to the triangle offense. Here's the basic look of pinch post with the Knicks running it to get a nice little floater along the baseline against the Bulls. The Lakers ran this a ton, and it opens up a little jumper for Larry Nance Jr., who still needs some help with his mechanics. The Spurs push the ball on the dribble to the wing, break into their normal motion, but watch Duncan set a pin down for Parker, then turn around and receive the pass in pure triangle pinch post action. Duncan then dribble pitches to Kawhi across the top, and when he draws two defenders, it's an easy pass and a layup. The Hawks ran the same setup, but instead of hitting the pinch post, they go into the secondary option, which is hitting the cutter coming out of the corner off a double pin down for a good look at a three. The Suns under Hornacek would hit the pinch post a ton and get Dragic using his speed coming around to get layups. The Jazz would set an Iverson cut across the free throw line before hitting the screener at the pinch post and sending the guard around and then handing off for a shot out top. The Raptors would get right into pinch post, and here's the signature fake handoff, then dribble pitch to Lowry. Nice flow into a pick and pop for a wide open shot from 3-point range for Patrick Patterson. Powell was at his best for the Bulls running the pinch post, harkening back to his Lakers title winning days. The Cavaliers like to use this on a ball reversal to get shots for Kyrie going downhill towards the baseline. The Mavericks found a way to get pinch post action right from the top, and notice the good screen set by Dirk on the weak side to occupy the help defense. The Celtics also utilized this action to set up good pin downs on the weak side to spread the floor to attack off the dribble with guys like Evan Turner and Isaiah Thomas. The Knicks also used the centering pass out top to skip the pinch post area and just a screen and roll, another great way to find a ball screen while occupying the weak side defense with the built-in movement on the right side. The Heat used it as their first pass in the offense, and the fake handoff into dribble pitch is a staple of the triangle, unmistakable in its influence here. And they were able to run this action as a 5-out set with no low post, spreading the floor and putting a lot of pressure on the defense with middle penetration and a kick out for a wide open three. The Pacers used the pinch post attack to get hammer action on the weak side, which also naturally puts them in good position to get offensive rebounds. You could even isolate the pin down in the corner into a dribble handoff as right out of the secondary pinch post action, something Mike D'Antoni took for his offense and where the Pelicans get a ton of their action from. The Warriors would also use this action to initiate the offense, opening up a quick drive to the hoop for Livingston before the defense could get set. And Steph used this action to suck in the defense and get an open look for three, which promptly becomes a corner three for him as he never stops moving. The Spurs invert this action by faking the handoff from the point guard to the wing, getting Mills a slip all the way to the hoop for an uncontested layup. And watch how they run pistol action with the fake handoff to Livingston inside ball screen, then hit the pinch post and run Barbosa off it at full screen for the layup. #basketball. And the Spurs stick to triangle principles out of some of their staples, like the loop. After running Mills across three screens to the right side, it flows right back into pinch post action, allowing Mills to get a nice ISO step back jumper. The third option in the triangle is what I call blind pig or backdoor step. If the wing can't pass to the low post or the top, the weak side forward cuts across to the nail and the guard on top cuts backdoor as soon as that forward catches the ball. If he doesn't pass it to him, we get that same pinch post action of the fake handoff into dribble pitch to the guard coming out of the corner. The Blazers use this action quite a bit to relieve pressure after spreading the defense out with 5 out. And CJ McCollum makes this into a pick and roll and a good look from 18. The Cavaliers also use this action surprisingly often, allowing their big men to get into the action by cutting to the high post, then backdooring the guards in a mad dash to the hoop. The Lakers run backdoor step out of the traditional triangle alignment, and we again see the concept of faking the handoff, then turning to dribble handoff the other way, getting Lou Williams free to get a shot off in the lane. The Warriors run their motion offense, and when the ball out top is denied, the weak side corner flashes underneath him, opening the cut for Klay to attack downhill for a nice pull-up jumper. The Jazz run this a lot as well, but seem to prefer to fake the handoff to the backdoor and then hand off to the passer to get into the lane, which opens up the roll quite a bit, but they miss it both times here. The Knicks show what happens when that cutter comes across but isn't open. He can set a back screen for Porzingis and see how it flows right into the low post entry. There's a split at the elbow for Melo, then a nice wrinkle with Lopez ball screening to get an open shot. When you have a good passing big man like Marc Gasol, this type of action is very useful, as more often than not, Gasol's man won't be in a position to deny this pass, and if you have the wing player cut up high first, it gets his defender moving in the wrong direction and allows for a sweet little bounce pass for a backdoor cut and easy shots galore. And you don't have to run blind pig from a sideline triangle. You can flash the weak side forward when the ball is up at the guard spot and have even more room to get going to the hoop for the backdoor cutter. The fourth option is the pass to the corner, which triggers a back screen by the center, who then turns and sets a ball screen in the corner. The passer to the corner cuts all the way through, getting a pin down screen on the weak side, and this kind of action is tough to guard. The Knicks also show us how they try to go pinch post, but it flows right back into the corner option. Passer cuts through, the center sets the ball screen, and they get an open shot with a wide open corner three if they had wanted it. You don't have to use the ball screen either, as the center can space to the wing and they can skip it to the open man out on top. The Spurs have been running this option as an automatic for years, and they can reject the screen and go baseline, or watch how their motion-strong offense can flow right into the baseline pass. And Danny Green sees an opening before Anderson would have set the normal triangle screen for him in the corner. The high post series out of the triangle also gets lots of pick and rolls on the wing. It starts with the guard making a UCLA cut off the center, much like the wing cuts off the center on the corner pass, before the center sets an inside ball screen. And check out how the Knicks can flow immediately into their corner option for another ball screen and an attack at the hoop. The Heat also have this in their playbook, even if the execution left quite a bit to be desired. The Hawks ran this as well, and it's not easy to defend when you pull your center out high with a little weak side flare screen for Korver. The Spurs begin this possession in basically the triangle high post with the guard UCLA cutting through, then the inside ball screen. Now watch how it perfectly flows to the other side for the corner option. Kawhi cuts through off the back screen, then Aldridge sets the ball screen for a Tony Parker jumper. Pure triangle, completely awesome. Let's not forget that the weave is also an integral pattern in the triangle, and the Cavs get a nice weave going across the top, then modernize it with the ball screen at the end for Dellavedova, who kicks it out for a decent look at a three. But the Warriors deserve the most credit for running this set so effectively, most often for Klay Thompson, who catches the handoff and then gets the ball screen from Bogut for a great look from three-point land. The Knicks also demonstrate how the triangle is flexible enough to get floppy action, a staple of every NBA offense, by simply sending the guard towards the hoop instead of the corner, triggering a double pin down on the right side and a single pin down on the left. And this time, they use a pinch post catch to find a weak side double pin down, and when that doesn't yield a shot, it flows back into a two-man game on the left side with great spacing that enables the offense to make some very nice inside passing for the dunk. Sports fans, I can't stress enough how important when you see all of these triangle actions exist across the NBA that it's still a very relevant offense. And here's the other thing, when people say, oh, you have to run an offense that works to your personnel, that's what the triangle offense does. And I hope you could see how flexible it is to allow the individual talents of your team to shine. So if you have good pick and roll players, you can get pick and roll out of it, but then you also have movement on the weak side to occupy the defense. If you have a good post-up player, it's easy to get post-ups there, and again, it can generate offense for the role players as well because they have a sense of purpose and structure to get open, and it allows the stars to know where they are at all times and be able to hit them and benefit from that, because we all know that when you get deep in the playoffs, it's the role players often who end up deciding these games. And if you leave them out in the cold standing around in the corner for 10 possessions in a row, it ain't gonna work out too well for you generally. Well, thanks for joining us. Lots more coming up as we get into September. I'm going to have retro breakdowns, more analysis of different teams with their new players. So stick around. Check out our podcast as well. It's terrific with a lot of great guests and a lot of great contributors there. And also, our website is killing it with terrific analysis from the written word as well. So don't forget, sports fans, at BBallBreakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?